And Anthony Melchiori, it is Wednesday.
Right, it's your birthday. Everybody wish him a happy birthday. 50th birthday. Look how pretty he looks on his 50th birthday.
I do look really pretty. Let's start the show.
I'm Anthony. Welcome to No Vacancy Live. That's my friend Glenn.
You're watching the #1 show in hospitality. Anthony Melchiori, my friend, great to see you today on Wednesday, November 18th. You know, today's an important day because it's Alan B. Shepard Jr.'s birthday, the first American ever in space, as well as the first ever Mickey Mouse cartoon debuted on this day in 1928.
Really? Do you know, I think Trump just signed an executive order to make it Glenn Houseman Day.
I'm sure he did. I think that's absolutely hysterical. So it's really great to see you, Anthony. And, today before we get started, I wanted us to talk about Ecotech, these amazing, awesome garbage cans that we have here.
You know what I told you last time we were talking about it, it's taken over my house. My wife was like kicking it the other day. What are you doing? She goes, there everywhere. I was like, because it works. And actually, I haven't emptied this one in about a day. Well, not emptied it. I haven't gotten a new one and thrown it out. But I'm telling you, my kids came home from college, and apparently, like, Dad, you have any more? And I was like, yeah, I have them in the garage. And they're like, oh, okay. So everybody's using them. All of a sudden, they've taken over my house.
That's freaking awesome. I think that's absolutely terrific. I have them here. I've got them in my kids' rooms. We're using them. And if you want to use them in the hotel, the good news about that is it's a lot cheaper than actually going ahead and reusing the same garbage cans over and over again. Plus, these are environmentally friendly. So I think that's pretty awesome.
And in my house, what I like about them is, like, my kids would throw stuff, like wet stuff, in the garbage can, and it would leak everywhere. It's like they realize it's cardboard, so they're like, oh, maybe I shouldn't throw it in there. Even though it kind of holds it, it's like, let me bring it upstairs. So it has all kinds of dual purposes. And it's just easy to collapse them and get rid of it, and it's over. And I'm serious. It's not because they're a sponsor of ours, not because we want them to continue to be a sponsor with us. Is I really like it. I mean, I'm going to be getting these whether I have to pay for them or whether they send them to me for a very long time. We're opening a hotel in California. It's a very big hotel, and I guarantee it'll be used in that hotel.
That is awesome. Only 15 cents per. It's a lot cheaper when you think about how it's going to work out when you figure in all the labor costs and stuff for the cleaning and the reusing and all of that kind of stuff. Anthony, I do want to
name. You mentioned Glenn's name. They're going to charge you 16 cents. So make sure you mention Glenn's name.
That's true. If you do mention No Vacancy Live, you will get 10% off. So each one will actually cost you 1.5 cents less, which is really good. I also want to announce I'm super, super excited to say that starting next week, we're going to be working with Best Buy. They are going to be sponsoring our show. So how exciting is that for them to participate with us for a few months?
Yeah. And I'm excited. Listen, people, we have a lot of viewers and people are starting to realize it. And so it's again, we never did this to get sponsorships. We did this to give information, and it's a blessing. I was on yesterday with Hilton, the president, talking to the military folks, and they listen. Everybody listens at Hilton, and everybody's listening across the board, and they gave us beautiful comments, mostly about me, a little bit about you, Glenn.
Yeah, they're like, ditch that dude. Were you? You said President Hilton. Were you talking about Christmas set of the CEO or Danny Hughes from the Americas? Americas. Yeah, we got to get Danny on the show. He promised me at Alice last year he would come. Then COVID hit and everything went askew. I got to get back on that.
I got a little inside track. Maybe I can help you out.
All right, I love that. We got to get Danny on the show. So before we bring on our guest,
great guy, and what a great. Just great company. But anyway, so yeah, I love this product, and I think it's perfect for hotels because you don't have, listen, it takes a housekeeper to clean out the can, and it takes them a while. And plus, a lot of them, like, it's hard to get that crap out. You basically you throw it out, and you get a new one, and it's inexpensive.
All right, so before we get started today, we've got on Thomas Penny III. He's the president of Donohoe Hospitality Services, a great company. We're going to get into that. But Anthony, I've been waiting to do this for a long time. This is how I'm feeling today.
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Sally O'Malley. I'm proud to say I'm 50 years old. I'm not one of those gals who's afraid to hide her age, unlike some other gals. And I like to kick, stretch, and kick. I'm 50 years old.
I think that is the funniest freaking thing. I didn't appreciate it when I was 35, but today I do.
So can you do me a favor? Can you explain to our podcast audience who has no idea what the hell just happened? Can you explain to them what just happened?
That's a Sally O'Malley bit from the 1990s Saturday Night Live. I thought that was really funny. One of the returning characters. But forget Saturday Night Live. Olivia Nash is literally watching Hotel Impossible right now. How exciting is that?
Olivia, which one are you watching? But you know what, Glenn? I'm glad you showed that because it's your birthday and you get to do what you want on your birthday. And you don't look 50. You don't look a day over 20. And it's a blessing to do the show with you. It's a blessing to call you my friend. I call you out of nowhere just to talk to you. I don't do that with anybody. I never call people just to bust your chops. So it's an absolute to work with you and to call you a friend. So happy birthday.
Well, I totally appreciate you. And boy, oh boy, just for everybody out there, Anthony and I were we're friendly before this, doing the checking in with Anthony and Glenn show. But I got to tell you, man, since we started doing this together every single day, we've gotten so much closer. You've become one of the most meaningful friendships I've had in my life, both on a professionally and personal level. And it's just an honor to get to work with you every day.
Well, thank you very much. An honor is all mine, my friend. So,
all right.
And so how'd your chores go on Sunday?
My chores on Sunday? Oh, you mean Saturday? So Saturday was great because I went to go help my mom. I got to tell everybody, I may just be the dumbest human being ever to reside on our planet Earth. Started a couple of months ago. My wife started asking me questions that I didn't think anything of, but I had to go on Saturday to go and do some chores over at my mom's house. I come home, I pull into the driveway, I hear kids bouncing up and down on the trampoline that we have out in the backyard. Again, I'm like, what's going on? Maybe the neighbor kids came over or something like that. I'm like, but the neighbors don't like us. Why would the neighbor kids be over here? I don't get it. Then I walk into the house, I'm holding all my grocery bags. I look out to the backyard, I see all my friends' wives and stuff like that. I'm like, why is Ebby here from the city? Why is Joanna here? Why are my friends here? I had no clue. Then all of a sudden they're like, Glenn's here, surprise. And my friends made me an outdoor 50th birthday party. So thanks to my beautiful bride, Helene Stein, for putting that together. It was one of the most meaningful days I've had in a really long time. Total love fest, Anthony. Made me really uncomfortable.
It was so funny. I text you Saturday morning and go, hey, we're working on a contract for something. And I said, hey, do you want to, I think it was a contract. And I say, I have time today if you want to talk about it. And you go, no, I'm doing chores for my mom. And then, I had no idea. And then Sunday, those chores was just a diversion. So
I'll tell you what was real tough. It was a real chore getting over the hangover on Sunday morning, but totally worth it. A lot of fun. All right, let's stop talking about me. All of this Glenn talk makes me super uncomfortable, which is odd being that I'm an only child, but whatever. Oh, wait, hold on. We got one comment that we have to bring up. Speaking of sustainable biodegradio, it would be great to connect with you about something else that you must know about. Ooh, well, just send us a note. You can find me, Glenn, Glenn, at rouse.media, and we can talk over there. Or just catch me on LinkedIn in the comment section. Send me a note. So thank you. All right, let's get to work. Let's bring on somebody who really matters. What do you think about that?
I think it's a good idea. And he has a nice haircut.
Yes. Welcome to the show, Thomas Penny, President, Donohoe Hospitality Services. Thank you so much for joining us today, sir.
Thank you for having me, and happy 50th birthday, Glenn.
Thank you, buddy. I really appreciate it. I call you buddy, but we've never really met before. I don't know how that's possible, Thomas. Why have you not been hanging around at all the events that I go to? Oh, wait, you're too classy for him. That must be what it is.
No, I'm not sure why we haven't met, but I'm glad that we're here today. And obviously, I like Anthony's haircut, and you're 50 years old. You still have hair, so I'm trying to figure out what's going on there.
So he's wearing a suit and a tie, and he's got a great haircut. And I think we look a little bit alike. So, maybe I don't know why we haven't met. I have no idea.
Yeah.
Good to meet both of you guys.
All right. So you guys have a great company. You do hospitality management. You do development. You do all sorts of great things. You originally started off mostly as a regional player in the DC market. Last August, you expanded to Las Vegas by opening up a Hampton Inn right by the convention center. Great move. May not seem that way to our audience today, but when things come back, you're going to be really, really well positioned with a great property there. I think the best place for us to start is let's just go back to the beginning. How'd you wind up in this hotel business to begin with?
Well, my parents required that I get a job. I took a job washing dishes at a hotel when I was 17 years old, and continue to work in the business. And really, me staying in it came as the result of something tragic happening. My only brother was killed my first year in the business
Holy
in a
cow.
car accident, and at his funeral, when my father asked that I deliver remarks, I basically said everything I did going forward was to make him proud. Went back to the hotel 2 weeks after the funeral. And over the next 18 months, I went from washing dishes to running my first hotel. I was 19 and a half. And been in the business ever since, been with Donohoe since I turned 21.
Wow. So let me ask you this,
Well,
Thomas.
first of all, I'm sorry to hear about your brother, and it's a horrible story. And also, it seems that so many people started in this industry washing dishes, and now that you're in this position that really helps a lot of people and creates a lot of jobs. If you've washed dishes, you understand our business on a level that a lot of executives don't understand. You have obviously the brain power and the financing ability and the management skill to be in your position. But if you don't understand the importance of washing a dish, I don't think you really get it.
That's right. That's right. I mean, it's foundational. And I think being able to really lead our people requires that we understand their experience. And obviously, washing dishes is a direct connection to what they have to do every day.
Yeah. So let me ask you this, Thomas. One of the things that we talk about is people don't even realize there could be a pathway to success to get a position such as yourself. When you took that first job, were you even aware that there are so many great jobs in the hospitality industry beyond what you saw in that hotel?
I had absolutely no clue. It was a $4.25 an hour job, and I took it as just a job to pay the car insurance. And I discovered a world of opportunity. Being a kid that grew up right outside of DC, I had never worked in a diverse work environment in my life. Principally, everybody in my neighborhood looked like me. And all of a sudden, I get into this hotel and I'm working with people from all over the country and the world. And so I was able to travel the world without leaving the workplace. It really was a great experience for me.
Did you grow up in the DC area? I'm sorry, Anthony.
I did. I was born in DC. I grew up in Seat Pleasant, which is where Kevin Durant's from, and right outside the city. Not the best neighborhood, but my parents, working class parents that required that we work hard, and obviously the opportunities within the industry were quite helpful along the way.
What was the moment that changed your life? What was your brother's death was tragic? Well, who was the first person to give you a hand up? Who was the first person that realized your ability, your tenaciousness, and your ability to get the job done? Where was the first moment?
So I would say two people. First, the executive chef that hired me. He was a father figure to me, and obviously shared opportunities along the way. But the first time I really saw myself in the industry, I was a dishwasher, but I was coming out to help the server set her tables. And she had been in the industry for a long time, and she stopped me and said, "Young man, you're going somewhere." I said, "What makes you say that?" She said, "Because you take the time to put your silverware evenly at the end of the table, and you place your napkin perfectly on the table." And she said, "That attention to detail tells me a lot about your future." And I had never had someone to tell me that I was going somewhere. So when she said it, it really began to change my perceptions of myself.
It gives me chills, man. It really gives me chills. Because that is everything. I remember I was telling the story to Hilton yesterday that I folded my underwear in the Air Force and I won best underwear drawer in my squadron, and that changed my life. Because then I realized the knot on my tie matters, the way my head is shaved every day, the way I wear my suit. A few minutes ago, there was a stain on my suit, and I was freaking out because I was licking it off camera trying to get the stain off my suit. And that matters. And there was a young lady, Taylor, at a hotel that we went to, the Riggs Hotel in Washington,
D.C.
22-year-old young lady. And I would give her a hotel to run tomorrow. the way she handled herself was almost like a ballerina. Just her intelligence, the way she handled herself, the attention to detail, and that matters. And I would imagine when people interview with you, that matters.
So it's ironic that you bring up that hotel. We actually owned and operated it. We developed it, first of all, in the late 90s.
Oh, really?
Operated it and just sold it to the group that owns it today. We sold it in March of 2017.
It was a Marriott, right? It was a Marriott.
I actually used to be the general manager of that hotel. And we sold it in 2017. They poured a ton of money in it in 18, 19, and coming into 20, reopened it. It's a beautiful hotel. They did an amazing job. It's a great hotel in DC.
And let me just do a quick show note. If you want to learn more about that hotel, check out yesterday's broadcast where we featured them. We were there. We give you a great hotel tour, the whole thing. You can see what it's all about. Anthony, take it away.
I forgot what I was saying because I was just sending you a private note saying we're stepping on each other.
Sorry, I just wanted to get the show note out there. I got to plug all of our content when possible.
So you were the general manager of the hotel. Now that was a Marriott Courtyard, as I understand. Is that correct?
That not only was a Marriott Courtyard, of the 30 plus Marriotts in DC proper, that was the second highest revenue per available room performing Courtyard in DC for 6 years.
Wow.
Yeah, because you were the general manager. That's why.
Absolutely.
So why would
the haircut?
So if it's doing so great, what makes your company want to sell that and redeploy those assets into other projects?
Well, it came down to when we did that deal, we took some tax credits from the city, which caused for us to either need to trade the hotel or to have it appraised to kind of lock in the benefits of that development project. And granted, when we went to have it appraised and we saw the value of it, we said, let's put it up on the market to see what happens. And the numbers came in were so compelling, it caused for us to want to trade it and redirect those resources.
So as I said in the beginning, money.
That's right.
Yeah, you don't let a property like that get out of your hands unless there's a financial benefit, a significant financial benefit. And I will tell you, whoever you sold it to, those people did it the right way, and the money is well spent. And what I said, the fusion of masculinity and and the feminine feel and the colors and the architecture with the soft colors, it was perfect. It was absolutely perfect.
So needless to say, it was tears. I had tears in my eyes when we were going to part ways with it. But then I saw how much we were selling it for, and I had tears in my eyes because I was happy about it.
Well, go get Taylor and have her work in your company because she's a financial person and a brilliant person. And the Briggs general manager is going to get mad at me. But I am telling you, in my career, I'm going to say this openly. In my career, she is probably the sharpest 22-year-old young lady I've ever spoken to.
Thus the beauty of our business. We're able to discover talent and give them the runway to perform at a high level. And that's why I love our business, just the opportunity to meet people and meet people with a great energy and give them the opportunity to support the business and grow within it.
Excellent. So let me just share before you go to the next question. Donohoe's got all sorts of projects: AC by Marriott's, Cambria's, Canopies, independent hotels, the aforementioned Hampton, Hilton Garden Inns, Holiday Inns, Hyatt Places, Residence Inns. So you guys are all over the development map, working with a lot of different companies to create great hotels.
So we definitely are. I think this is also us kind of graduating, if you will. Historically, we would stay with the Residence Inns, the Hilton Garden Inns, the Courtyards. Now we're going into more lifestyle-leaning hotels. We did an Autograph in Charlottesville, Virginia, along with our partners back in 2018. We're doing ACs. We're obviously doing a few Cambrias. Millennials want a different experience, and some of the traditional brands, while they're still powerful, we want to get out in front of some of the changes that we see coming to the hotel business.
So I just got off a finance keynote. And so the vaccine's coming, things are getting better, but we know convention hotels are still going to have a long struggle. Smaller boutique hotels in maybe A markets are going to get back a little faster. If you had to just take away convention hotels, all right, and just go from corporate leisure hotels on a scale of say a speed, if you were in first, second, third, or fourth gear, once a vaccine is relatively available, and I mean that it starts getting into your local urgent cares, one being slow, four being fast, how fast do you think New York City or Washington, D.C., San Francisco, L.A., boutique properties come back?
I would say probably 2, 3, and I see them coming back at different paces, even within respect to those different markets. They're a bit different. New York City really requiring a bit more of international travel, and I see that coming back a bit later. In DC, because we just had CARES Act funding, and we're going to have probably another iteration of it. I think there'll be more activity in DC with the incoming change of administration. So I think DC will come back quicker, and the hotels that you describe obviously will be better positioned than most. Obviously, New York City will come back too. I just see them coming back a bit slower just because of the need for international travel. But overall, I feel good about all the top 25 hotel markets.
Yeah, and that's a good point. Washington being government-based, it was kind of a little busy when we were there. And we actually called the Riggs Hotel, and they put us in some beautiful rooms and took really good care of us. I mean, really shout out to them. Great service. But we called it because we want to be there during the inauguration of President-elect Biden and do interviews. And the rates that they quoted us, because they comped everything, but the rates they quoted during the inauguration, that would be a problem.
Right. And let me put out there, Anthony, we're good people, so we understand that that's when they have to make money. So we're not going to be schnurrs and ask for free rooms when they could be filling them with paying customers.
The room we were filming, it was $2,000 a night if we wanted to book it.
So Anthony, when we were there and it was a Courtyard, first Obama inauguration, we were charging rates, north of $1,000 with a 4-night minimum. And so it was a good time in the city. And the funny story was I remember being the general manager of the hotel and having some of the general managers of the larger hotels being apprehensive to charge rates that I thought were commensurate with the demand. They thought I was crazy. And but needless to say, after we got our star reports the week after inauguration, I called them and told them that I thought they were crazy for giving rooms away.
And that's why you're the boss now. This decision. So this is an open. Question. If you have availability for any of your rooms during inauguration, we'd love to have you back on.
Absolutely.
That's awesome.
Sorry,
Dobbs, go ahead.
What's that, Thomas?
I said, I hope I don't have any rooms, but if I do.
Right. Excellent. Yeah. He'll put us in the one out by the Las Vegas Convention Center is what he'll do. So I do want to say that on the tourism topic, the CEO of Expedia, who happened to ascend to that position in April, he said in a Bloomberg article on November 16th, based on a conference call for their quarterly revenue, that he believes by next summer the travel will be back, saying that Rome has been through a plague or two and it's still there. New York has been through all kinds of things. It's not the first time we've had civil unrest. Things will be back. It was much different. It was a much different place in terms of our safety growing up in the 70s, yet we still went there. I think that makes a whole lot of sense. People are going to go to these locations. They are going to travel again. And with the word that these not one but two vaccines are now going to be coming to the market, I think everybody's going to be well positioned by next summer. So I did want to get that out there. Thomas, I know you're feeling pretty bullish about that. How do you now start to think about them between now and then?
So for the next several months, inauguration excluded, it's really a cash preservation play where we're trying to aggressively manage cash, manage our expenses such that we can get to the other side of it. And so it'll be a cash preservation play for most hotels until the vaccine is readily available. We're optimistic that we'll start to see some pickup late Q1 into Q2, and we're hoping that things will go gangbusters by Q3.
So, Thomas, one of the things that general managers struggle with is they struggle with the understanding of the financing part of the hotel. You are obviously very articulate when it comes to the real estate and financing of it. And also you're an operator and you understand how to push revenue management. And I would probably say you're the best revenue manager, at least in Washington, D.C. market, and probably one of the best revenue management executives probably in the industry. So where did you get your financing degree or understanding? Because most of us, general managers, I think any success I've had is because I understand revenue management and the financing of hotels. Where did you kind of bridge that gap? How did you go from being a general manager, worrying about cleaning toilet bowls and linen and drinks and food and beverage, and learning how to position a hotel from a financial standpoint?
So when I was a general manager at the Courtyard, I began to have an interest in the ownership side of the business. And my first year of being a general manager, I inquired with the folks at the corporate office if I could come and just see how they evaluate deals. And I was 33 years old, eager to learn that part of the business. They began to invite me in, and I was able to learn that part of the business while still learning the functions of a general manager. And I always tell my people, it's important that you learn the job you have as quickly as you can and begin to, learn the next job. And, I inquired and I was fortunate to work for an organization that embraced that curiosity and created the opportunity for me to come in and learn, at an early level.
So what was your first moment getting into that kind of position where you felt, because I'd imagine when I went to work for Tishman, and I talk about it in my book, as an asset manager, here I am in my early 40s, so it's not that long ago, it's less than 15 years ago. And I remember sitting there and Cornell University grads reporting into me, and John Paulson, who was my assistant, was 10 times smarter than me in asset management, has an MBA. And I was sat there and I was like, uh-oh. I was like, okay, I've been really very confident walking into the room, and now I am petrified. And I better learn really quick. I would spend literally on a Sunday afternoon, the entire afternoon up until 1 o'clock in the morning, getting ready for my meetings on Monday, because I was so far in the weeds and so far over my head. But I was scared. I lost weight. I was a nervous wreck. I cried a couple of times, but I suffered through it. And have you ever had those moments?
So I would not say I've had those moments. I'm going to tell you my personal preference or my personal thoughts. I think that folks who come up in our business on the food and beverage side, because of the slim margins, they learn how to make money in a unique way, disproportionate to some of the other disciplines. And so the experience of having those slim margins when I was a food and beverage director really caused for me to understand how to make money, and that easily transitioned to the hotel side of the business, easily transitioned to the development / acquisition side of the business. And so, because I had that experience in the food and beverage part in the early days, it came easy and it came very naturally to me. And as I'm talking about it now, I oftentimes tell folks, I learned about business, period, when I was in the 3rd grade selling candy bars in elementary school. And there were days I sold them for $1, and there were days I sold them for $1.25. I understood that you're going to set prices based upon demand, and business in general, it just comes down to that.
Where was the moment you gained your confidence? What happened either with your family or a coach or a teacher? Because you have a tremendous amount of confidence for a young man. And listen, I had all the experience for food and beverage and all the experience in the world, and I still was frightened. So where did you get what was the moment that you were like, you know what? I'm just as good or better than anybody else, and get out of my way?
I'd probably say when I first became a general manager, and I began to see the results that we were able to get from the business that was disproportionate to some of the other folks at the time in the company. And I would also say that because I grew up in a neighborhood where it was just a challenging environment, I came to the realization that I was not supposed to have been a general manager of a hotel. And because I had felt up to that point, I had already achieved something that was probably greater than others in my neighborhood had achieved. I was going to lean into it, and I was going to take risk, be aggressive, and leave it all out on the field. As a matter of fact, when we sold that hotel that I referenced, that is now the Riggs, back in March of 2017, I was actually about to leave Donohoe, and I was looking for another opportunity. I was going to leave. And I'd actually come in to give my resignation, and they would not accept it. And the reason why I was giving my resignation, I got another job offer paying more money. But what I told them was that I don't want to leave anything on the field. When I get to the end of my career, I want to know that I've done everything I set out to do, and that I was aggressive, and I didn't take time for granted. And so, again, because of where I come from, I don't feel like I have anything to lose. I don't feel like there's anyone better. And we just want to leave it all out on the field. And that's really what's even required in this post-COVID world. It's a time to really lean into business and not be afraid of it.
I've been leading into a word, undeniable. And I talk about to young people, and I actually just rewrote something in my book to put it in there. And you're undeniable. And you just said when you resigned, they were like, you're not going anywhere, man. We're going to make it happen for you. You were undeniable. Now, as a young African-American man, when you were general manager at the Riggs Hotel and you went to a general manager association, or you went to, a room where all these other executives were, how many other people look like you in that position?
So I got a great story for you. I'm 33 years old. I'm the general manager of this Marriott, this smaller Marriott, albeit in DC. And we had this revenue management meeting with all of the Marriott GMs. Several of the larger hotel GMs was present for this meeting, right? So I'm at a select service hotel. Most of the select service GMs were not even sitting around the board table. They were sitting in the chairs along the perimeter of the room. I walk into my first meeting and I sit right at the center of the table, and I lean into it and begin to engage as if I'd been there for 20 years.
Awesome.
And really, that's just been my attitude. And
were there other African American general managers?
There was no one that looked like me in the room. I was the only one.
Right. And you sat there and you were undeniable, and you were like, all right, let's get to business. And there's a confidence that, listen, my brain power is not as good as my confidence, because if it was, I'd probably be a lot further if I had the brain power to match my confidence. And
further, you do a show with me. How could it get any better?
Well, I mentioned my brother earlier. At his funeral, my father asked me to deliver remarks, and I kneeled down next to his casket. I said everything I do going forward was to make him proud. And that was a pledge I made 28 years ago at his funeral. And it's something that still burns me to this day, to wake up and do things in a way that would make him proud of me.
So when you walk in the room, you're both there. What was his name?
Derek Penny. My only son bears his name today.
Wow, that's beautiful. That's beautiful.
My best friend's funeral, somebody talked about a poem called The Dash. I don't know if you're familiar with it. I just did a commencement speech at Park University, and I talk about the dash. And the dash is the day you were born and the day you pass away is on your tombstone, but your dash is how you lived your life. And
That's right.
And it seems like you're taking real control over that dash.
Yeah, I mean, in DC, we got 4 hospitality academies, 500 kids learning about the hotel business from operations to ownership. I've been involved with the program for the last 20 years. We're getting kids in Cornell. We're getting them scholarships to some of the best hospitality management schools in the country. And, I think that we have a responsibility to the next generation. I preach that with my leadership team. And we really try to not only do business at a high level, but to try to inspire the next generation at the same level.
All right, so let me jump in here, because you don't just preach that, you are a living example of it. And one of the things that we talk about on this show frequently, and you've already answered the question, is how we get past having, all people of different races and colors and persuasions get past the property level up to the executive boardrooms? And at Donohoe Hospitality, if you go to their website, donohoe.com/hospitality, and check out Meet the Team, the 12 people that they had featured, there's only 2 white guys on there, which is absolutely incredible. 2, 4, 6 women, a couple of Asian people, brown-skinned people. That is an amazing thing. And I think it really shows that people of different origins can achieve what you have achieved. How did you set the tone for that? How did you bring together such a team that really represents our society more accurately than honestly any other hospitality company I've ever seen before?
Well, I think that part of our challenge is we tend to surround ourselves with people of similar experience, right? And so you have organizations that are principally white male dominated because basically their circles are reflective of their experience. And what we've tried to do is be intentional about making certain that women and folks of color have real opportunities. As soon as we bring 1 or 2 in senior leadership roles, it sets the table for everybody to really not only have the confidence to pursue opportunities, but also it creates the landscape for them to really transition. And in all honesty, we have not been, it's been a part of our organization for a few years now, and it's now turning on its own axis. I don't even have to drive it. It's
Awesome.
a part of the culture of our company.
Right. But you had to set the stage. You had to put in a lot of work and make a conscious effort to do that. What was that process like, Thomas?
So in essence, I wanted people of the similar experience to me to have the opportunity to grow into senior leadership roles. So part of it was me obviously being able to be successful in my role, but then me being a mentor sponsor for other mid-level managers in our organization, as well as working with young people at the high school level and the university level to help recruit folks that of diverse experience into our company. And now we're 20 years into it. We got a lot of young folks who started with us 15, 20 years ago, growing into mid-level positions. We got senior level folks who've been with us 20 something years. It's a part of the fabric of the company right now.
And why do you think that, I see more diversity in companies like yours as opposed to the bigger brands? And I'm just going to say it. We had a big brand now, maybe 6 months ago, and we invited several people, and there was not one diverse person on the panel. And I was shocked, and I was pissed. And I told Glenn off camera, I was pissed off. It's like, are you kidding me? Like, we talk about diversity, and you can't bring one person, an executive in the C-suite. So why do you think that is?
Honestly, I think there's still a lot of folks that don't value it. And I think there are companies that will do just enough in order to check the box. There are other companies that it's a part of the culture. And even the big brands, there's some that do it better than others. I'm hopeful that with what we've experienced over the last 7 months, we can make some concrete gains. But I'm also pessimistic because I've had some serious conversations with some industry people, and I have not seen them move with the level of urgency I would have hoped for. So, we got a lot of work to do. Obviously, I can control my company. I'm going to continue to ask the hard questions of other folks within the industry, and we just gotta move this forward. It's now or never, as I see it.
Well, anything I can do to help you with your organization to go into those high schools, I drive down to Washington in a second to talk to anyone that you'd like me to talk to, because I think it is so important. When I was growing up, I didn't have a lot of direction, and a lot of people helped me from all kinds of different communities. Right. And what a pleasure to see when I walked into the Riggs Hotel, and that young lady we talk about, she happens to be African American. I'm telling you, she's the sharpest person I've ever met in this industry at 22 years old. I didn't know how to put my pants on at 22 years old. This young lady has.
You knew how to fold underwear, though.
And I said to Glenn, I turned to Glenn and I said, when I open that hotel in Long Beach, and I won't do it because Dieter will get mad at me, who's the general manager, but I think I'll make her the general manager. Because she's got a sophistication of, I got a degree, I got a PhD in figure it out, right? I got a PhD in it. and I'm the most resourceful person you'll ever find. And I think the same is true with you, and I think the same is true with this young lady. If you have a PhD and figure it out, guess what? You figure it out.
That's right. That's right. One of the things that I'm extremely excited about, we opened a hotel roughly about 3 weeks ago in Baltimore, the Canopy by Hilton Harbor Point. And we have a leadership team, with one exception, that's principally 20 and 30 something year olds from Baltimore City.
Awesome.
That are really, 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 really energized, thoughtful, smart. I mean, just an incredible group of young people. And they've come into their own through this COVID period, the George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, situation. And so I'm really excited about this young team that we've assembled. Diverse team. It's not all African American. Good representation of women. They're on fire. And so I'm looking forward to supporting them in years to come and see where they take us.
I want to talk about something I think is important and maybe a little controversial, but why not? We're not talking about putting people in a position that aren't qualified. We're talking about looking in a different neighborhood, in a different school, being uncomfortable in going and addressing people that don't look like you and don't maybe come from the same place you come from. We're not talking about giving people advantage that doesn't deserve advantage. That young lady, Taylor, I would give her my entire company and go on vacation. Okay, this is talking about, I've been surrounded by diversity because I'm from New York City. Some of my best friends that I've worked with have far surpassed me. Ruben from Wheel of Fortune, who's the warm-up guy for Steve Harvey, who used to work for me, told me to shut up, sit down, and I did, and I promoted him, and now he's one of the hottest guys in California. A gentleman who is a bell captain, who's now CEO of a major hotel, a major hospital in the city. And so I've seen it all around me, and I've never noticed it. I was in the military. It never appeared to me that Alan was African American or Ruben was African American. It appeared to me they were the most talented person around me, and it was my job to treat them like I would treat anybody. And that's what we're talking about. And when people, if you want to get me pissed off, it's when people are saying, well, they're taking somebody else's job. We're talking about talented people that just deserve an interview and giving them a fair shot. And I'm not hiring anybody that's not qualified, okay? And that's what we're talking about. And it really pisses me off when we're talking about corporations, like you said, they'll check the box, but they don't really look at it. They don't really go and find people that are talented because it's too complicated or it's just not comfortable. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to go on a tirade, but it really pisses me off.
You're absolutely right.
I've had these conversations with Glenn many, many times off camera.
Yeah, I mean, again, we just got to do a better job. And I think if we've learned anything over the last 7-8 months, right, we learned that we're all in this together. COVID is impacting everybody. It's impacting businesses of all stripes. We're in this together. And so, again, I'm hopeful that we can come together and really create equitable opportunities for qualified people to receive just an interview, just an opportunity. And to the extent that we do it, we'll be better for it. And so we just got a lot of work to do, and we got to do it.
All right. So, Thomas, let me ask you this. One of the things that our friend of the show and regular Chris Green does in order to ensure that they have an honest diversity is they look at resumes, they'll take the names off. So that way that you don't make any erroneous cultural conclusions and stuff like that. I think that's a great tip to help people get started. What are some implementable things that our listeners could do to help create the environment that you've gone ahead and done for your company?
I think if they do not have a diverse leadership team, especially in the human resources department, they have to start there because there's no way to institutionalize equity as it relates to opportunities and who gets consideration if you don't have it within your leadership group. It would be an elusive goal. And so I think to the extent that they can bring in a person in a senior leadership role who is of diverse experience, who's qualified experience, that will be that'll get them to the 50-yard line. And then I think it's about setting tangible goals to be intentional in your recruitment efforts, establishing relationships with universities, establishing relationships with workforce development organizations at the local level. I think that level of intentionality will begin to get folks in the organization. And then you just have to have an organized system of having sponsors and mentors to help answer questions and help make certain that folks that deserve an opportunity get it. So those are just some tangible things that folks can implement.
Excellent. Really, really important to hear those types of messages. You really have to make a concerted effort to do this. So, Thomas, tell us about what having a diverse executive team actually brings to the table. I want to hear how, because if I surround myself by a bunch of 50-year-old Jewish white guys, I'm going to get, one of those endless feedback loops that we've seen to such horrificness in our political environment. So what are some of the benefits of bringing different personalities, points of views, and cultural backgrounds to the table?
I'm having problems dealing with one 50-year-old Jewish guy every day.
I think whenever we're competing for a piece of business, folks bringing their unique perspectives in pursuit of the opportunity to the table is really, really important. We're competing against organizations that are in some cases larger. There's so much that I learn from the folks that I have the opportunity to work alongside every day. And as we're looking at something, you'll get 4 different perspectives based upon the unique experience of those that are a part of our leadership team. And if everybody had the same experience, we just would not be able to compete as aggressively as we're able to compete.
Right. Anthony?
I got nothing, man. I'm still recovering from before I got emotional. I actually took
All right, so let me ask you this question.
It just angers me. It just angers me that we're still talking about this, that the color of your skin matters, and that we have to tell people that we have to look at other people and from all different. It just really pisses me off. When I was a kid, I remember seeing it. I think I told you, I was at a park when I was a little kid, and I saw a white woman with a black man, and people looking. And I asked my mother, what are they looking at? Because I didn't see it. I don't understand it because of where I grew up. I grew up in a very diverse community. Again, my neighborhood wasn't so diverse, but my school was. And it just really irritates me that we're still having conversations about this. It just really pisses me off. And then people, they're making our political agenda, not to get politics, but depending on what now now people are feeling that depending on who you support or don't support, it's a black and white thing. And like I said, I think the last time we did our podcast a couple of days ago when I was on, was when I went in the military, they didn't give me a red bullet or a blue bullet. They gave me a red, white, and blue bullet. And the guy standing next to me happened to be an African American and my best friend. And it didn't matter. And I just don't understand in 2020 why we're having these effing conversations. Excuse me. I'm sorry. I'll let you go. I'm going to stop now.
So, I agree, Anthony. And again, what I focus in on is creating an organization where we can solve some of those challenges. We can have frank and candid conversations. We can learn from one another and grow together. But it's 2020. We should be further along. I'm an internal optimist. I believe that we just have to move forward. And if everybody assumes some level of responsibility, we'll be further along in a short amount of time.
Right. I like that. Mike McManus, friend of the show, says we started a multifamily unit, and they have noticed that when we find someone with a different look, value system, and background, we found new industries to penetrate, and our entire team is better. And I think that's really what it's all about, all coming together and sharing different points of view. And because we all have different backgrounds, it really gives us insights onto things that we didn't have before, which I think is absolutely essential. So let me ask you this. We got a question. I want to change topics because we can just keep going around and around about how difficult of a challenge it is. But aside from the DC area, East Coast, as well as Vegas, what about the Midwest? Are you going to be taking over that part of the country as well, Thomas?
Well, we hope so. There's some exciting markets in the Midwest. Now that we have a presence in Vegas, we want to have more hotels in the Midwest as well as the West Coast. And so we're being intentional about evaluating opportunities. We believe that there's going to be quite a few hotels for sale in the next 6 to 9 months. And so we are properly positioned to be able to take advantage of it. So we're definitely looking to expand into the Midwest.
So one of the things that we've been hearing is there's a lot of money sitting on the sidelines. Quite frankly, I've been hearing that for the last 15 years. I'm wondering if any of that cash is ever going to get deployed. So you're a real big believer in now taking some of that money and maybe taking advantage of some hoteliers that might have gotten in on deals that were that didn't really have the numbers to pan out. Now they're in trouble. You guys could swoop in, be a hero, save the property, and make some cash at the same time. Fair enough assessment?
Yeah. Absolutely. We believe in strong markets with strong brands. And to the extent that we can go in and buy at a discount, we're going to take advantage of those opportunities. We believe there'll be plentiful in the next 6 to 9 months. And so for those that have access to equity, this is a real opportunity to grow your footprint in a relatively short amount of time.
Now, Thomas, I don't want to take away from your opportunities out there. So you don't have to name anything specific, but what types of properties do you think are the most ripe for you for acquisitions? And are they in big cities, tertiary markets, suburban markets? What is kind of your formula for going forward?
So typically major urban centers with high barriers to entry, multiple demand generators. We like select service brands, especially if they're lifestyle leaning, where we can get full service rates with select service margins and do well on the returns. And so that's kind of what we like to see. And we pay very close attention to the top 25 markets. All of our hotels, we take great care of our people. So all of our hotels today are non-union. And we try to create opportunities for our folks such that can continue. We don't have an interest in some of the markets where there's a large union penetration, but there's a lot of exciting places to be in different parts of the country.
What are the 3 markets that you would say are the most interesting coming up markets? I know Austin is a great market. Nashville was a great market. Now it's kind of, I think, saturated. So what if you were a brand new hotel owner and you were walking, 50 states, what's the 3 cities you would say are in 3, 4, 5 years are going to be very interesting?
I would say, so I still think that Nashville had been a strong market and then it slowed down a bit. But I still like the long-term potential of Nashville as a market. I would say secondarily, I think that Austin is a decent market to be in. And those are 2 that jump off the page. All of the other markets, there are reasons to be optimistic about them, but there's also reasons to be concerned. I think COVID's going to tell us a lot about major markets and what's happening. And so we're paying close attention to quite a few of them.
Right. Interesting. Now, earlier on, you had talked about moving from some of the more conventional select service brands to the more lifestyle focused brands. Manish Patel said, which brand would you consider to be strong performers in limited service? And which brands do you think are strong?
So in the limited service space, we like the AC brands a lot. We see them as the next generation of courtyards. And so we like that brand a lot. We like the Autographs, the Curios a lot. We're really, really excited about the Canopy in Baltimore. It's an absolutely beautiful hotel. So those are a few of the ones that we're really, really excited about. And so I think, and obviously extended stay hotels have really, really done well for us. Yep. And they're doing well even through this COVID period. And so whenever we have a chance to do a residence in our Homewood Suites, if it's in the right market, we look to do that deal all day, every day.
So let me ask you a question as a person that came, that knows a little bit about hotels. Why not, with your ability, with the ability to generate money and your experience and your group's experience, why not do an independent hotel without an Autograph or a Curio? Why not just open it in a great market? Because like you said, there are high barriers to entry in a lot of these markets, but you've obviously cleared those and you probably could do it without a brand. Why not?
So that's the next iteration for us. We had to attract talent that could operate an independent hotel. We went out and got some salespeople that have had that experience previously. We had not had that on our team. And so that's kind of the direction we're headed in. We'd like to do something in the range of 150, 200 rooms in a major market, and really create our own unique experience. But we had to basically recruit the talent that gave us the confidence that we can do it at a high level.
Right. Like, for example, you're developing the Bingham Hotel right now in Arlington, Virginia. And of course, you have the Draftsman Hotel in Charlottesville by the university. So you are already playing in that field a little bit, and we'll continue to move forward. Anthony, any more questions for Thomas here before we wrap up?
Well, Thomas, I made a new friend. Please give me your cell number in a private chat. I'd like to help out your charitable association. There's nothing I like doing better than talking to young people, and especially in this environment when people say, the travel industry is over. I not only laugh, I laugh loudly. If the travel industry is over, then the country's over, then the world's over, because we are not and I try to make this clear to young people. We are not a want-based product. We're a need-based product. You need to stay in a hotel when you go to Washington, D.C. for business, when you come to New York. You need to sleep. You need to stay in a hotel. Restaurants getting killed, but most restaurants are not in a need-based business. They're in a want-based business. So hotels aren't going anywhere. And the ones that are in trouble, they're financially lucrative for people like you and other organizations that say, listen, we can get it for 70 cents on the dollar. We're going to fund it. We're going to get it. So the people that have written off New York or have written off the hotel industry or the travel industry, they should probably go do something else for a living.
I could not agree more. As a matter of fact, it's times like this that really define why I'm in the hotel business 28 years later. This crisis creates a unique opportunity for us to expand at a rapid pace. And I agree with you wholeheartedly. There's going to be a lot of pent up demand on the other side once a vaccine is released. I think the recovery in a lot of markets throughout the country will come back quicker than folks anticipate. Our industry is not going anywhere. It's just getting stronger.
Beautiful. I think that's a perfect way to wrap it up. But Thomas, you've done a great job today. So tell us how we could learn more about Donohoe.
You already gave my website. You can go to www.donohoe.com/hospitality and learn all about us. We've been around since 1884. We're one of 5 divisions. We have a construction company, development company, real estate company, and facilities management company. And it's an organization where everybody brings their hard hat to work every day, and a whole lot of great people around. So that's how you can find out about us. And I appreciate the opportunity. You guys are great. Happy 50th birthday again, Glenn.
Thanks, buddy.
Anthony, I look forward to seeing you in DC.
Great. Awesome. And don't forget me. I'm happy to do that too. I love doing all that stuff as well. So please consider me as well, although I know I can't perform like this guy.
Tom, one of the things I also want to point out, and I don't know you, I just met you, but being in your organization, you better be a high performer. And we don't talk enough about that. I know the show's kind of over, but like high performance, I couldn't imagine working around you if I wasn't a high performer. And I would imagine you're a very nice guy, but you don't suffer fools very easily. And so that's another reason you're successful. That's another reason your company's successful. We come to play, but play means work. To me, I play all day, but I work really freaking hard all day. And so we don't talk enough about high performers. And obviously your organization's all about high performance.
No question, Anthony. I'm still the first in the office every day. I get here between 6 a.m. and 6:30. And if I'm in here too long and the lights are off, we got a problem. And so I want folks that have the same tenacity, the same grit, the same determination to get up to compete every day. Those are the folks that we want in our organization.
Right. And when you are a high performer, you can go in your office and say, "Hey, boss, I'm not coming in for the next 3 days. I got something to do." And you be like, "Okay, cool, enjoy," because they leave it all on the field, and you're not going to question why they're not coming in for 3 days. I always say to people around me, it's like, do whatever you have to do, just get the job done. And 99% of the time, I'm sending you home and saying, get the hell out of the office. So when you're a high performer, you get a lot of flexibility, and people don't understand that. Perform better than your competition, kill it every day. As a matter of fact, if I worked for you, I wouldn't be coming in at 7 o'clock. I'd be coming in before you, 5 minutes before you every single day. I'd be tracking your car.
Yeah, I mean, again, I think that there's something to be said for getting up early. My grandfather had a trash business. He got up at like 4 o'clock in the morning, and he influenced me, influenced my father, and again, those are the kind of folks we look for, folks that are really eager to get up and make a difference every day.
No excuses. I love the fact. I'll never forget your little quote when you said that you walked, or story when you walked into the room, never been in the room before, everybody sitting around the table, the perimeter of the table, and you pulled the chair in the middle and you put your shoulders forward and go, "What's going on?"
That's right.
And that is what I'm trying to teach my children. Because what are they going to do? Go sit in the perimeter? Okay, I didn't realize. I thought I could sit here. I can't sit here. That's for the chairman. My bad. I'll sit over there. And then I'm going to do it again until somebody tells me to get back out of the chair. And or what would happen is they're not going to tell you to get out of the chair. The chairman's just going to move next to you. And that, if I learned anything from you today, that is the greatest lesson for all young people or old people to listen to. Sit in the middle of the damn table, put your shoulders forward, and say, "Good morning, everyone. I'm here."
No question. No question. We have to send a message that we're not going to concede 1 ounce to the next person, and we're just as good. And if we bring that attitude to competition within the context of our business, we'll be successful more often than not.
And there's a difference between arrogance and confidence. And arrogance is telling everybody how good you are. Confidence is showing everybody how good you are.
No question. No question.
Excellent. Thomas, thank you so much for being here. We're going to have to get you back on. And Anthony, maybe we'll go do some live stuff from one of his hotels.
Yeah, I think Chris Green, maybe on Thursdays, we change Chris out for Thomas. Just kidding.
Thank you, Thomas. Have a great afternoon. We really appreciate you. So I got to tell you, Anthony, the one thing that I find is super interesting is that all week long, we've been coming up with grit. On Monday's interview, when I talked to Sean Worker about the Adapters and Innovators project we're doing together, grit came up. Today, grit came up. This is a common theme that we're seeing throughout all of these shows, and it's one of the things that we don't talk enough about in society, I don't think.
Listen, we're going through a challenging time, and we're starting to see the light at the end of the tunnel in a lot of different ways, and that's life, man. And then we're going to get kicked again. And we're going to get kicked again, and we're going to get kicked again. That's life. Like I've said before, you make your agreement with your God, whoever you believe in. It's like, I got to take the good with the bad. And again, all of us have got hit, and we all got to the campus, and we've all had really, really bad days. But it's about, gentlemen like Thomas, that he fights every day. You don't think he's had a bad day in the last 8 months? I'm sure he has. But he's in the office at 6:30, and he squares up at the table and goes, "I'm here, deal with me." And that's what it's about. And it's not about the color of your skin or where you come from or who you are or how old you are. It's deal with me. Be undeniable. I'm here. Give me a reason I should take a step back. And if it's reasonable, I'll take a step back because maybe I've overstepped, which I've done many times in my career.
That's right.
I love the quote of "bite off more than you can chew, and then friggin' chew it."
Right. And sorry. Olivia asked that we bring up her other comment over here. My boyfriend and I have been watching your show for the past month, going to a hotel in a month to get away. Told him I'm going to inspect it like Anthony does. I literally love your show. How cool is that, Anthony?
Well, thank you. And more to come, hopefully. We're working on some things. But listen, the love, since Amazon Prime has put us on free for the last 9 seasons for the last couple of months, I'm telling you, we've gotten more love than we've ever gotten. When we were on Netflix, we got love. But it's the Travel Channel is a small channel. So we had millions and millions of people all over the world watching our show. But now it's because it's on Amazon Prime for free. It just seems like there's a whole new life to it, and which is good and bad because I like just living my life as a normal person. I'm telling you, I wore my mask when I was in Cincinnati, and I got noticed more just from my eyes and my walk than I did from my face, and I love it. But it tells you authenticity matters. Thomas didn't become who he is because he's African American. He came because he's authentic and he shows up. And so our show is about showing up and holding people accountable. And I think going forward, you're going to do less with, you're going to do more with less in corporations, whether it be Marriott, Hilton, all these brands, in independents. And when you show up at the table, you better be authentic. People are sick and tired of crap. People want you, even if you get yourself in trouble a little bit, even if you poke the bear a little bit when you shouldn't. It's people are basically looking for people to show them a new light. And with the younger generation coming up and knowing technology and understanding, we're using technology in the right way, but we're also, if you think about how many hours in a day that you spend on technology wasting time, okay, and we're all addicted to it, we've got to challenge ourselves in the next month. And I'm going to make a challenge to everyone. Reduce your social media by 50%. I've made a commitment to myself to do it. I'm taking my phone, I'm putting it away from me a little bit. I'm in the house, so I don't need my phone as much because my kids are here, my wife's here. So, I always have it next to me when I'm away because if they need me, I answer immediately. But when I'm in the house, I put it on the other side of the house sometimes. We've got to get away from it. We've got to start reading books. I went in the room the other day. My daughter's in college. She was reading a book. And I was like, "Are you reading a book?" And she goes, "Yeah." And I won't tell you the title, but it was a funny title. I was like, "Hey, man, you're reading a book. It's that's all that matters." So as we get out of this weirdness that we're in, challenge yourself to be more there. And I think that is a very scary thing that we spend 6-7 hours a day on social media wasting time.
It's such a waste of time, Anthony, and I see it all the time. I mean, we have a very strong rule here in the house that you can't use your phones around the dinner table and all of that kind of stuff. But when I go out into the world and I see people eating, the strangest thing is when they're all at the table together, all on their social phones, they're there with each other, but nobody is present. And I see a lot of problems coming in society because we're not actually there for each other. We may be in the same place, but we're not really interacting. We're not really participating in each other's lives. We're not showing each other enough love. And now, more than ever, we need to be focused on those types of things.
Going into this, I remember telling you all the time, I like being alone, and I don't like people. I've said that to you a million times. I'm not a people person. And people are like, what are you talking about? You love people. I love you. I love relationships that I can build, that I trust. But I'm not a cocktail guy. I'm not a let's go talk about baseball guy. I am like the last guy in the room to go and go talk about bullshit and at a cocktail party. I'm in the corner trying to get out. This has shown me that, I do like people, and I do want that connection, and I do want to have cocktail parties, and I do want to have those conversations because that's how you get to know people. And this podcast has helped me. Like, I would have never known Thomas.
Right.
So I'm starting to realize, no, Anthony, you are a people person. You've just isolated yourself. So I'm getting off my social media more. I'm making phone calls. I call you out of nowhere for no reason.
I love it. Mm-hmm.
And that's, we need to get back to that because let's be better. When people say that I don't know if you believe in God, you don't believe in God, but when people say that this happened randomly, think about who we were 9 months ago as a society, a world society. And we all got put in a big timeout. And if we don't learn from that, if we don't learn from this timeout, if we don't learn how to control ourselves and understand that we're in control of our destiny, then you got a problem because you were able to control your environment the last 8 months. If your environment in your house was really, really toxic, that's your fault because you had control of that environment. And if your environment was something that was more comfortable and soft, then that's your fault too. And do you know that more marriages actually, the divorce rate is lower in the last 8 months than it has been since 1950?
That's shocking.
Because people kind of, realize, I'm not just saying hi, hello, and goodbye and falling asleep at night, that we're forced to say hello to each other.
Right. Yeah, I think that that's fantastic. I had no idea about that. Really cool. All right, let's take the show home. What do you think about that? Should we wrap this thing up?
Is Anthony Goes Off on a Tangent Show. That's what the name of the show is.
I love that. That's what makes it fun. That's what makes this interesting. And as I told Thomas before we got on the air, the most interesting conversations to me are the ones we didn't expect to happen. We start off thinking something's going to happen, go in a totally different direction, and that's what makes a conversation great. Anthony, this was a good one. I really love talking to Thomas. And tomorrow we're going to have on George Nitton. He's the chairman of the New York State Hospitality Association. Of course, friend Chris Green will be back.
Yeah, you know what? And what's great about Thomas is you see him in, good-looking guy, young guy, beautiful suit. He's in his office. He's got this fancy title with this fancy company, and you know what? He washed dishes, and he was a general manager not too long ago. And he had a lot of grit, and no one gave him anything. His grandfather owned a trash company. No one gave him anything. His grandfather gave him work. I mean, one of the greatest lines in hotel and hospital history was, "I don't want to give my children money. I want to give them work." And the greatest thing we can do is give each other work, and that's all anybody wants. So,
That's right,
brother.
All right, let's wrap this up. I want to thank you all for all the good birthday wishes. Remember, all of you out there, you're vibrating with love and light. You're pulsating with love and light, but you've only got one life, so blaze on. So, Anthony,
Happy birthday! What time of the day? I'm going to guess what time of the day you were born.
this is going to be a good one. Before you do that, don't forget to watch Anthony's show tomorrow at 3 o'clock.
You were born at 7:18 p.m. in the evening.
Close. You're off by 12 hours and 7 minutes. I was born at 7:11 a.m.
But I had the hour.
I'll tell you what. When before my dad passed away, my parents would call me every year at 7:11 a.m. Happy birthday! I wish I was born at noon.
I was born 6:05 a.m. So yeah, Thursday, 3 p.m. Me, my partner Jeremy. Today's Wednesday or Thursday? Here's Wednesday.
Wednesday, tomorrow.
3 p.m. And can't wait to talk to my friend Jeremy. And thank you. Another good show. So remember and never forget, be kind to yourself.
See y'all tomorrow.